Okay, hello. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. Thanks for coming on back. I am here to answer some questions that people may have. Hello, Rosie. Welcome. That was quite the read. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you, Be Hopeful. Thank you so much. Dennis, welcome. Yes, welcome back, everybody. It was a bit more difficult to have it on silent, but it worked a little bit quicker for everybody. So I wanted to kind of get that information out and then come back and talk about it a little bit. Oh, good, Alexis. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that it was helpful. Thank you for coming and participating. So here we go. Oh, you're welcome, Kathleen. You're welcome. Hopefully, can they plead the fifth? Jellicle. Okay, so you can, if you're called to testify, you can say, I refuse to answer because of self-incrimination grounds. You can do that if you're testifying. You're welcome, Sam. Thank you, Belly Up. Thank you so much. Question, convicted or acquitted, will America ever be what it was? Good question. We're always changing. We're always changing. This country is always changing. This is just, another moment in our history that's taking us down a different road. But I don't think that, I don't think we've lost ground. I think the fact that, we caught a problem and we're correcting it. So I think we're going to be okay. Cops break all of these and it's still hard to charge them. Ooh, I'm not sure about that. We will survive. We will, we just make a lot of mistakes. We make mistakes, but then we cleaned it up. And that's, kind of what we just do repeatedly. So, why do you? It's just a document. Well, William, this is a grand jury indictment out of Georgia. So I think it's kind of important. Hi, CJ. Welcome. Hello, Brenda. What happened? Oh, I was just going through the Atlanta, Georgia grand jury indictment that came out yesterday. I did have comments off, so I wanted to pop back on and answer any questions or talk about it afterwards. So, yes, we're very young, George. That is so true. Atlanta leads which way? Tough to tell. It's tough to tell, but this DA is pretty amazing. Hi, Greg. Welcome. Powers of Georgia are corrupt. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm willing to go that far. Do you think they have a strong case here? It looks like it. I mean, we got a lot of evidence. We got a lot of co-conspirators here. We got a lot of evidence. We got memos. We got phone calls. We've got witnesses that were asked to do certain things. So we've got a lot of evidence. I think their case was well put together. I think they took a lot of time. And they really watched the details and really were very careful about the different elements required by the code. So I can respect that. How do they charge them as a group? Just like anytime we've got co-conspirators, and I've not looked up their previous RICO cases, but they have prosecuted RICO cases before. Think they can get a conviction from a jury? I think so. Proof beyond a reasonable doubt. We've got so many many charges. That's why I'm just thinking statistically, we've got 25 different counts here. So it seems like 25 different counts and then all of these defendants, it seems like something's probably going to stick somewhere. I'm not sure exactly what, but 11 of 11. Okay, interesting. They've absolutely nothing. Well, they've got a full grand jury indictment, so that's something. Do you think she will break them up into groups? 19 at once seems impossible. Good question, Michelle, and it's all going to be strategy. It's all going to be whatever she feels most comfortable with, how she thinks that she can go forward with the case in the most productive way. So ultimately, it will be up to her. When Giuliani flips, it'll be big. It's, definitely. Giuliani's really playing a huge role, and I guess I knew that he was, but I didn't realize what level we were at with that. Hello, Paralegal Life. Welcome. Thank you, Jilly Bean. That's so nice. I appreciate that. They have their own defense attorney, or will they group under one? Oh, I'm sure they would each get their own. I'm sure they would all have their own, which would really make it a very difficult situation. I'm not really sure how they're going to handle that. Oh my gosh. All of a sudden I just saw like dots, spots in my eyes. I'm like, what? Why are you acting like you're important in this? Oh, I'm not important. I'm absolutely not important at all. Nope. I'm just reading out the documents. Oh, thanks, Karen. What about how they filed charges and then pulled them? Okay. I'm so glad somebody asked me that. Here's the deal. Here's a document that was accidentally filed, right? So this was filed and then pulled. Happens all the time. All the time. Every day, all day, every day. Happens all over, everywhere. It's just one of those things that happens with how our system works. So that just absolutely is something that's part of it. Yeah, it's a common clerking error, harmless error. The judges have held that time and time again. Ignore the haters. Oh, Scooter. No problem. I think hate only works if you, care. If you care about the other person's thoughts, which I don't. When it comes to hate, that's just too much energy. What did they pull? Oh, they pulled. Sure. They had just a few hours before, well, several hours actually, before the grand jury came in, they had accidentally filed. This had gotten through the clerk court system, and it had been filed accidentally, and so they pulled it because it's not the proper form for anything. It looks kind of like a cover page, kind of like a work product document is what it looks like, in my opinion, and it just accidentally got filed somehow. Somebody pushed the wrong button, and then they took it down, which happens all the time. Oh, good. I'm glad it was helpful. Can the error affect the case? No, it can't. No, nope, not at all. Is the trial going to be televised? Yes, because it's in state. No such thing as accident. Well, that's not true. If you've ever filed a whole bunch of stuff in court, we file stuff all the time, and it's like, wait, no, I need that back. Happens all the time. Very, very normal. What about Mike trying? I'm not sure. Will any of these defendants be removed to federal court? I don't believe so because they're specific to Georgia questions. What do you think Meadows wanting to move it to federal court? I think that's a good try. I think when you're dealing with a whole bunch of attorneys, they're going to try anything that they can. It doesn't mean it's going to work. Is he going to go to jail? I believe we've got 5 years minimum if there's a conviction. So there's some talk about that. But are you joining them after the case? No, I don't do any fundraising. That's not in my purview. Leave that to the fundraising people. Explain the grand jury indictment. Sure, we have a grand jury indictment comes in, needs to find probable cause that a particular defendant committed a particular offense. If they come back with an indictment based off probable cause, then we go forward and set up a trial or try to get a plea agreement. A grand jury indictment's different than a regular indictment only because we pull in an impartial jury to make the decision rather than the local prosecutor. Just heard on Monday news conference. Yeah, I've heard that too. I actually did hear that he had some kind of evidence that would prove that there was some kind of voter fraud tampering going on. And again, I'm just like, I cannot emphasize enough, what kind of, like magical spell, no offense to anyone that's, in that world, but, how to produce something that would create this, piece of information. I mean, I don't know. I can't even imagine what it would be because we've already got people in his team messing with the voting machines. So, I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Not parole eligible. That's interesting. 5-year minimum. Right. Okay. Right. That's what I thought. Why are there so many charges for other states? How does that reference Georgia? I think what they're showing is there was the overall conspiracy. What was the purpose and the intent? And when we're dealing with a RICO case, you need to have this kind of common goal put together from the business or the people. And so what they're claiming here, the manner and method of the enterprise. And so they're going into all of these different things that they did. And they're saying it didn't just happen in Georgia. It happened in other places as well. Again, to support this idea that there was a conspiracy for this ultimate goal that they were working on together. So that's key for RICO charges. Pattern of behavior. Yes. Yep. That's a great way to put it. Sure. Sure. Can the 14th Amendment be applied here? That's a great question. The 14th Amendment is so vague that I think a lot of constitutional scholars are talking about it and arguing back and forth. And they're saying, is this language applicable here or not? And there's a lot of questions about it. And, we haven't really needed to invoke it anytime recently. So, we've got a lot of questions. I'm not sure either. And if you look to the specific language, I'm pulling my amendment up right here. So, one moment, please. So under the 14th Amendment, Section 3, no person shall be senator, representative in Congress, or elector of president or vice president, or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States, or under any state, who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress, officer of the United States, or as a member of the state legislature, or as an executive or judicial officer of any state, to support the Constitution of the United States, shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same. So those are the issues. Was what happened here considered insurrection or rebellion against it? And was there any giving of aid and comfort to enemies? And who technically are enemies? So those are the questions. None of that is firm or solidified, as our Constitution is notorious for. It seems like it applies. I mean, it's for this very reason that it was set out after the Civil War. So, it's debatable, and I think it's good that it's being debated. Can you explain that it takes a long time to build a case? Oh, absolutely, KJ. It takes a super long time, especially with all of the evidence, like, for example, the Florida case, there's so much evidence. I mean, there are 32 specific documents, but they found over 100 documents, and they only charged 32. All that documentation, all the picture, all that evidence, all of that stuff put together, it just takes a really, really long time. Can the other states charge individually? Absolutely. Absolutely. If they've got state laws that have been violated, they can absolutely charge. So where we've got the fake electors being pulled in, we've got people trying to kind of swoop in and change things around. If they've got code sections that have been violated, they absolutely can charge those. Oh, you bet, KJ, you bet. Sure. 4 years to do it. 4 years. I mean, that's not bad considering the amount of evidence that's involved in these cases, the number of defendants, the number of charges. Whoo, it's a lot. It's a lot. It takes a really long time to put these together. Sue for defamation or anything else. I feel sorry for her too. And I think so. I think there is some litigation going on, or proposed litigation. Although I'm not sure if she's kind of waiting for the criminal case to be done. But yeah, there's definitely some defamation issues, significant defamation issues going on. Yeah, they're not built overnight. Oh no, they take years and years and, hours and hours and hours spent away from family and friends and your own life, just, completely in the trenches, in the weeds, putting all this information together. Why hasn't Jack Smith requested? I don't think she's done anything at this point that would qualify for recusal. We have specific rules and different elements that we look for if there's a recusal situation that we think would be more appropriate, and I don't know that she's really hit any of those elements. I think the Sullivan-Strickler situation, I think it would make things a little too complicated at this point. It can always be brought later. Those things can always be brought in as long as we're within the statute of limitations. Presidential immunity, I'm not sure what you mean by that. No presidential immunity against criminal actions. U.S. v. Nixon. Everyone wants to know who made the calls to stop counting votes election night. Well, according to this document, nobody did. So again, I'm not really sure what you're talking about on that. Maybe just another person here trying to get on the news. Oh, you are? Christy, are you on the news? Ooh, who are you? I'm going to remember your face. Christy. All right, let me know if you make it on the news. Let me know. Oh, my nails. Thank you. Oh, my nails. I've been so bummed about Hawaii. My ukulele's out. I've been playing it like, oh, me? Oh, no. No news for me. Thank you. Nope. No, thank you. Calling to ask to find a specific number of votes. Yeah, that's a huge piece of evidence. Oh, that's a huge piece. Okay, somebody asked, impersonating a public officer. This was charged for the people that in Georgia that claimed they were official electors, and they were not official electors. So they were impersonating the official electors who are considered public officers. So that's why there are charges there. Am I Hawaiian? I'm not. I just, oh my gosh. My heart is broken for them. Yep. Yes. Oh, the uke. I mean, it certainly isn't my strongest instrument, but I just can't help it. I keep just... Did I get a new ink cartridge for the next indictment? No, but I was shaking it. I was shaking my ink cartridge. I'm going to need things to calm down a little bit until I can get my ink replaced. Oh, that's hilarious. Oh, my goodness. Yes. Evidence most interested to see in court. Honestly, I personally, because I'm an evidence dork, I'm interested to see the actual fake electors certifications. Their certificates that were created and the forged documents, I think would be fascinating to actually see how it was created, how it was put together, and then with people actually signing these fake documents and sending them in as legitimate documents. So I think that would be very interesting. It'd be very interesting. Yeah, I think so. Do you think there are more indictments in the pipeline? Oh, I do, Rosie. I do think there are. That's a feeling I've got for sure. I think that there are. With what's going on in Colorado, with what's going on in Michigan, with what's going on in California, yeah, I feel like there might be. Also an evidence dork. Yay! Love that. Could any of the defenders get a plea bargain? Absolutely they could, and that would be smart to do that, to go forward. Can you talk about the tweets he made the other day about Fani Willis? I don't really pay too much attention to that kind of stuff because I find it's a slippery slope. But I know that there have been a lot of derogatory statements made. I take my cue from her. She sent out an email explaining to her colleagues how she felt about it. And so I look at it like, well, what does she think? What does she think about it? And then I follow along those lines as well. So I'm not overly concerned until she becomes overly concerned. And then I've got concerns. How many indictments do you think there will be? Oh my goodness. I don't know. There are just so many. So many states involved, so many working parts, so many people involved. We've got companies involved. We've got, even today there was a filing done on the wrongful death case for the officer in D.C. So there's just so much going on with that. So much going on. We'll see. Over 4. Yeah, it's a lot. But there was so much involved. There was just so much involved. I think the caliber of this situation, I think some of us had some idea of what was in the works, but I'm not sure anybody could have known that things were this bad. And I think we're all just like, oh my gosh, this is real bad. No, it's for the officer. There was an officer who sustained injuries that day, and he passed away from that. Yeah. I'm not sure how many people exactly. I know that there were several. I know of at least two lawsuits involved, and I know of many injured officers. No, see, and that's the thing, Mad Cindy May, is that they specifically say in this indictment that statement was false, and they charged him because he said that statement that was false. So we can say that statement, but it's false. It's a false statement. That's just what it is. If it wasn't false, they wouldn't have charged him with a false statement. Yep. Saw it in the video. The video was rubbish. The court held that the video was rubbish. This indictment held that the video was rubbish. It was huge. And because he said that, he's been charged with it. So A grand jury found probable cause that that statement was false. A grand jury found probable cause that that statement was false. So it's false. He can be found not guilty beyond a reasonable doubt, but it doesn't mean the statement wasn't false. Another bedtime story. True. True. Yeah, I'm absolutely an evidence dork. I'm a criminal law and constitutional law nerd, and this is a historical moment. So absolutely historical. So it's very interesting. I don't think it matters if he said go peacefully or not. It doesn't matter, Mike, if he said go peacefully. They're saying he said a whole bunch of false statements, and so people believe that they could have done something. He could have said go peacefully. It doesn't matter. The fact that he said anything at all is part of the issue. Mike, I'm going to need you to stop spamming me, okay? We need you to seriously, okay, thanks. I guess you're gone. Everybody should get plenty of time to talk in here. We don't want one person dominating. Oh, the false electors. Yes, the false electors. It's a lot, isn't it? Oh, thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you. Oh, it does matter. It does matter. It's a constitutional right. Okay, we don't have a constitutional right to bring weapons and to protest inside of the Capitol building. That's not a constitutional right. There's a law that says you cannot do that. And if you violate that law, you get charged. Dad jokes. Yes. Oh, good. I'm just so glad that people are finding that to be helpful. Yes. I mean, I'm just trying to explain there were no weapons except for by police. That's incorrect, Mad Cindy. And if you go through and look at all of the people who were charged, you'll see they were charged with a tomahawk, a pipe, a coffee mug. We had pepper spray. We had buckets of unknown liquids. So, yeah, there were weapons. I mean, that's just the indictments. That's how they pleaded guilty. They admitted it. And then were sentenced. There were some weapons at that level. Based on your view of evidence, do you think he will go to prison? I don't think the level of evidence determines the possibility of prison. I think we can come back and get a guilty and look to the mandatory minimums in this jurisdiction to make that assessment, but the kind of prison and so on, that's a separate issue. That really is that pre-sentence investigation and what would be the most appropriate level of accountability, honestly. Yeah, this is the real case document. You can go online. This is available. You want to look for it in a PDF form. That's how you know it's true. We've got a stamp on it here from Georgia. So you're just going to look up Trump, Georgia indictment, and it's going to pull us up. Yeah, they had bear spray. They had all kinds of chemical weapons involved. Yeah, no, it was up last night. What overt act is your favorite or most interesting? Oh, that's a tough question. I'm not sure I could choose. They're all fascinating to me in different ways. I mean, they're all horrible. It's like it's not a good thing. I wish this wasn't happening. But from an academic perspective, it's very interesting. Again, I think a lot of the documents that were actually created, the fake documents, the false documents that were actually presented to the archivist is absolutely fascinating. Yeah, it's all about accountability. That's what it is. It's like we've got laws, and you break the law, you need to, take care of it. Jail time is determined by the sentencing guidelines, and they've got minimums for different offenses here. And so you can set a minimum, but you can go above the minimum. Minimums and maximums. Oh, you're welcome. You're absolutely welcome. Absolutely. Do they have to prove to the jury that the statements were false? I think in this particular case, when we're showing statements are false, the only defense to that is that if they were true. And so we're going to have a pretty easy situation to say, Secretary of State who's in charge of all of the election research. Did you look into the election? Yes. And was the statement that 600,000 dead people voted correct? No, it was not. Why? Based off of my investigation, there was absolutely no data or evidence to support that. Okay. And so then we need to prove that the statement was made. Yep. With the My Pillow guy. I think a lot of people, Lindsey Graham, the My Pillow guy, I think there's a lot of questions out there still that remain unanswered as of today. We will see what happens. A lot of working parts here, a lot. I try not to be biased. I may be a little tired, but I do try not to be biased. Can he still become president? It's possible. It's possible. I think there'd be a lot of litigation. First Amendment doesn't work that way. First Amendment applies to any law that the government makes restricting your speech. Doesn't actually apply to someone just making words. I'm glad Meadows is implicated here. I didn't see him mentioned with Jack Smith. Yeah, and there's more coming on it though. Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions. Can you move the paper up so we can see? Oh my gosh, you can't see my legs, can you? Oh my goodness. I've been trying really hard to make sure no one can see my legs. Hold on here. I just want to make sure I've got everything. Okay, no legs. Thank you. Oh, no, not the twinkle toes talk. No legs. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. All right, how's this, V? Is this all right? No legs. Yeah, I gotta be careful. The chart, the check. Okay. Are you getting paid more? I'm not getting paid anything whatsoever. I'm only here to educate. Only here for educational purposes. Oh, sure. It's just a black screen. Oh my goodness. Thank you. Where can I find the indictment? Yes, you go online, go to your search engine. You put in Georgia Trump indictment and then PDF, and that will really hone you in. Oh yeah, it's all free. I think one of the biggest problems we have is that the information isn't made available to other people. So I'm just here to kind of help out. This is my free time. This is just for fun for me. And other people seem to be interested, so I'm thankful for that. He has First Amendment rights, true, but there are limitations on the First Amendment. It's not absolute. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot going on. Oh, thank you, Erica. Thank you. Illegal speech when you cause rights. Right. I mean, that's under Brandenburg. We've got clear and present danger issues, all kinds of things like that. Yes, I certainly try, Lopez. I mean, I've got some biases that just kind of come out, but I just try to give it to you straight here. I'm just reading through the documents, explaining the law, and I can see all the different sides. That's what my training is. So I'm not really sure. What exactly is what's going to go down with that. There's been some talk that there's going to be a mugshot, but I don't know. I really don't know. I think we've got to watch out for any kind of problems. We want to make sure, again, the most important thing is that we have a fair trial. I don't know anything about that, Jason. I'm not sure what you're talking about, dude. I got no idea what you're talking about. It needs to be, maybe it'll make it, well, history deserves, well, maybe, Janet. Yeah, you might be right. Can he fight the mugshot? I'm really not sure how Georgia handles these kinds of things. I'm just not familiar with their procedures there. It's going to really be up to them. But Georgia's not messing around. Georgia is mad. Georgia's mad. The trial will be televised. This one will, because it's a state case. Double jeopardy? No. You can be charged for the same set of facts as long as the different code sections are applicable. You can't be charged for the exact same code section repeatedly over and over again with the same set of facts. You can't do that. But if it's different code sections, you can do that. Nope, he's not named in here. Yeah, Georgia. Yeah, Georgia's like serious. Yeah, there are really a lot of people involved in it. A lot. The RICO part of the indictment. The RICO is just saying that there was a group of people, they had a goal, they committed some criminal acts in order to achieve their goal. That's what RICO's involved with. Yeah, says they will treat him like everybody else. Yeah, as it should be. I mean, really, as it should be. I mean, everybody should be treated the same. You realize the right can do the same thing. I don't think anybody's giddy. I think this whole situation is horribly tragic, but I think it has to be a learning experience. I think if we don't learn from this, then, there's something wrong with us. I think we have to learn. His immunity, he was president. Nope, that's not how presidential immunity works. Jump ahead of feds. No. And he asked for exactly one more vote. Yeah, and that was a little hinky, wasn't it? It was hinky. No one's above the law. Absolutely. No one. Everybody has to follow the law. And, just because you violate the law doesn't mean you're a bad person either. It's like you did the crime, you get convicted, you serve your sentence, you move on with your life. I also don't think that it needs to be the end of the world. I think, if you own your mistakes and you pay your price, then you can move on. I don't think being convicted of a crime is the end. I just don't feel that way about people. Yep, I will, Steve. Absolutely. He's got charges against him. Charge him up. I don't care who it is. Charge him up. You do the crime, you do the time. That's how you do it. Could Ginny Thompson be one of the co-conspirators? It's possible. I'm not really sure. I try to not look too far into her story because it's very distressing. I don't know. I don't know who that person is. He won't be charged, though. I don't know who you're talking about, because if you're talking about Mr. Trump, he's been charged like a lot. Left or right. Doing wrong against the Constitution is not good. Agree, Deborah. I agree completely. We have to respect the Constitution. I mean, is it fantastic? Is it amazing in every way? No, there's problems with it. Absolutely. There's problems with their legal system, our justice system. Absolutely. But, we've got to have the basics. We've got to respect the basics. Yes, attorney talk. JC. Yeah, and I'm sure he would, of course, because everything, if you are an attorney in this situation and you are charged and you are part of this whole conspiracy and part of all of this situation, you're going to do everything in your power. And you've probably been thinking about it for a couple of years, too, of what you could possibly do in order to put on that defense. So I have no doubt that they are going to raise every single issue. They're going to cuff him. I really have no idea. I have no idea about that. Yeah, I think so. I think in the end, when you're looking at prison time, you tend to do what you need to do in order to take care of yourself. I think that's just the nature of humans. So if you've got a chance to make a plea agreement that's going to change your life a little bit for the best, you're probably going to do that. Lindsey Graham is one. It's possible. Would I defend this case? No way. No way. No. This is not my area of expertise. I mean, there's plenty of crimes involved in this criminal law, but we're dealing with forgery and fraud and false statements and solicitations and those kinds of things. That's not really my cup of tea. Just meaning I just don't have any expertise necessarily. No jurisdiction. Nope, not true. Nope, there's no immunity. U.S. v. Nixon, that's the case. You'd never get paid either. Yep, true story. Are they going to have all of them in court at one time? I'm not sure. It was suggested yesterday, but again, the indictment just came out yesterday. She was probably pretty exhausted, so, they're going to have to think about what the best strategy is. It's over before, maybe. How did I get into law? That's a great question. It kind of just happens. It's just happened. I had some things in my world that I needed to take care of, and kind of tripped and fell into the legal field and was like, oh, here are my people. I've missed them. So that's just kind of how that worked for me. I don't think a lot of people understand how serious these charges are. True. Mr. President. Yeah, I don't believe that they do know, and they are pretty serious, and they're pretty high level. I mean, RICO is, they're not messing around. Will be on TV? Yes, because it's in Georgia. So long as it can be a fair trial. If there are issues with it being a fair trial, if it's made public, then they will not put it on. Glad you found your people. Yes. Yes. Oh, my goodness. Where did you get the indictment before it was read on national TV last night? Curious. I was looking for it. I just happened to be hanging out, and some of my amazing commenters gave me a link. Somebody showed me a link exactly where it was, and I was able to pull it up. There was quite a bit of frustration. Pull it up and then print it out. Although my my board ink cartridge, it was a close one. It was a close one. Feeling hopeful. Well, we don't know what will happen, but we need this trial. I think we need to have some closure on this. We need to have this, we have to have some law and order, whatever the decisions can be. I think we just need to have it. Yeah, we camped out online. I know. It was so funny. There's some other people in my home, and they're just peeking their heads in. They're like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Nothing. I'm not doing anything." Oh, my goodness. Secret protection be placed in prison? I'm not sure. I've never heard of it happening before, but it doesn't mean it can't happen. We've got all kinds of groundbreaking things going on. What does RICO mean? It's the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act. Basically, the key here is that we've got organizations involved. So they're saying a group of people are forming this essential kind of organization that's defined by law in order to go forward with a particular plan. Oh, I fell asleep too, Felicia. I was still reading it, but I sounded like I was awake, but I was actually asleep. So I totally understand. I totally understand. Roberts will allow camera in the federal. I don't think so. I think the feds are pretty careful. They're just pretty strict about that. And, it's kind of their home. It's their house. It's their rules. So, he just kind of goes through that. Explain how overt acts aren't necessarily illegal by themselves, but in furtherance of a crime. Sure, JK, you got it. So, this has to do again with this concept of inchoate offenses, which is this really specialized area of criminal law. Usually for a crime, we've got an act, we have the intent, that's our corpus delicti, that's our criminal equation. But with an inchoate offense, we don't necessarily have the act yet. So, let me give you an example. For a solicitation, so asking someone to commit a crime for you, we call that solicitation. So I'm going to ask somebody to, set my barn on fire so I can get insurance money. Me asking that person is the substantial step. Just because that person goes and tells the cops and doesn't burn the barn down doesn't mean that I'm not going to get charged with solicitation because my substantial act was asking them to do it. They don't actually have to do it. So with a conspiracy, you don't actually have to have a success with that, or with an attempt. You don't actually have to have success. You have to have this overt act or substantial step in the process of having that criminal act occurring. So that's why in every piece, it's like this is an overt act, a substantial step towards the end goal, even if success was not obtained. And that's what makes the inchoate offenses unique, because you don't have to actually have success. Typically, we always have to have, the actual thing. And a lot of our inchoate offenses merge into the actual offense itself. For example, if you have attempted homicide, so you're not successful, the homicide didn't actually happen, but you took substantial steps or had overt acts trying to go forward on that attempt, it merges into the attempt. So you're actually charged as a homicide and go forward that way, even though technically a homicide didn't occur. So that's how our inchoate offenses work. They're tricky, absolutely. It's kind of a tricky area. Oh yeah, great question. Fantastic question. Love that. Anyone will be looking to make a deal? I think so. I would think so. I think the attorneys involved are going to kind of try to, get kind of slice and dice it and try to figure out a situation. But I think eventually people are going to really need to look out for themselves. They're going to need to take care of themselves. It failed. What they were attempting to do failed. And now they've got to figure out how to survive and live through it and own up to it. Pardon my ignorance, what does RICO mean on this matter? So racketeering influenced means we've got criminal actions involved and a corrupt organization. So the organization is the group of people together forming this conspiracy. So an organization doesn't have to be like a registered LLC. An organization means like a pack of people with a common goal. And the racketeering means there were illegal actions used in furtherance of that goal together. So that's why it falls under RICO. It would be the same. This is how a lot of gangs are charged, because there's a group of people that all identify and belong to a particular group, and they're using illegal activities to go forward and achieve their gang goals. So it's very similar. Yeah, there's a lot, Felicia. There's so many details. There's really a lot of details. Oh, thank you. Be hopeful. Appreciate that. Yeah, in organized crime. If he's convicted of RICO in Georgia, it's minimum 5 years. Yes, that's what I've heard. There's a mandatory minimum. And when you've got a mandatory minimum, there's nothing a judge can do about it if there's a conviction. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting language in here that kind of smacks of that 1930s, like, get your Tommy gun out kind of situation. Like, what? There's some of that language involved in there, especially when we've got nicknames involved and kind of rude comments, kind of breaking other people's character down, those kinds of things. So a little bit. What part did you think about most throughout today? What really got to me was the fact that this accidental document that had been filed was so just blasted all over the media as like the end of the world. That was so frustrating to me, because I kept thinking, like, people that are putting that story out, have they not spoken to any attorney that's ever filed electronically? Like, what's going on? That was really frustrating to me, that the way that it was being twisted was so ridiculous for something as simple as a clerical error that happens all the time. But it's like, and then of course, I think too, and in my video I made, like, there are clerical errors in all of these cases all over the place. Is it easier to beat a state case than a federal case? How come it's not federal? Federal could still be charged. There could be federal RICO charges. They just don't have them right now. State, this prosecutor has her goals. She felt her jurisdiction, her laws had been violated and went forward. She took the facts and ran with them. What they're doing at the federal level, they've got, their own kind of strategy. So things are a little bit different. The resources are different at a federal level, but at the state, your control is different. You're really kind of honing in on what you want. Is the RICO case more of a priority than the documents case? I don't know. It seems like the DC case is the one that they're pushing to have the earliest trial date set for. In what I've seen scheduling wise. And, this Georgia case is its own creature because it is a state case. So I'm not sure how the timelines are going to be set down for it. Clerical errors are the least relevant legal issue currently. So true. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. It's like you read my mind. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Am I married? Yes, I'm married. I'm married. I'm very married. Thank you very much for your question. But yes. She's an amazing judge. Oh, good to know. Patriot Act, at least for the documents, not in Georgia. I'm not sure what you're talking about. Are you talking about the USA Patriot Act? Because there's not much left of that. Thank you. Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. Hopefully this was helpful for people. I'm just here to kind of help people understand things a little bit, and you kind of take that knowledge and run with it. Yes, the USA Patriot Act. Is that what you're talking about? Actually reading this also, it's easier to read that. And I think some people may not realize that either. That's one of the reasons why it's good to go through it, because you can see, like, well, wait a minute, this makes sense. I can understand that. How long have I been an attorney? I'm not sure if I should say. It's been a long time. It's been a very long time. I've gone through many different evolutions in my legal career, but I've been here for a long time. How long? I'm not sure if I'm feeling comfortable sharing the exact number, but it's been a long time. I've learned so much here. Oh, I'm so glad. I'm glad to hear that. Keep it close to the chest. Yes. I practiced, here's my background. I knew people were asking about it the other day. I have a undergraduate degree in political science and a minor in rhetoric, so speech communication, but specifically speaking. And then I went on to law school, 3 years, accredited law school, and graduated there. And I had a kind of a specialty area in constitutional law and legislative practice. And then after that, I passed the bar exam that I had to take, 3-day exam. Don't recommend it, but you got to do what you got to do. Went on. I was a prosecutor for many years. After I was finished doing that, which time just sometimes you just know. And then went in, hung up my own shingle, so to speak, started my own law firm, and then did teaching. So taught tons of classes, constitutional law, criminal justice classes, criminal law, evidence, torts litigation law, all different kinds of area of the law. But my favorite, of course, was constitutional law and criminal law. So those were the areas I spent years and years and years and years teaching, and enjoyed it. Yeah, scariest thing you saw in the indictment. Honestly, it's all difficult. All of it, all of the indictments, everything, I think is difficult to really kind of wrap your head around. It's a lot. It's a lot. It's almost too much. It's not, but it's almost another stratosphere. No, well, I know a lot about what I know about. But that's it. I certainly don't know about everything. It's a criminal enterprise that's been exposed. Yeah, I think that's a good way to put it. I think that's a really good way to put it. Anything when we've got it at this level where it strikes at the fundamental principles of our government process is really, a moment to give pause and think about it. But it's just too bad. Can unnamed people be charged later? Yes. As long as our statute of limitations hasn't run, they can be charged. Absolutely. I'm not sure how long the statute is. So, yep, they can absolutely be charged. Dealing with a man whose strategy is to cover up crime with more crime. Yeah, it's like cutting a hole out of a blanket. That it doesn't really work. I mean, the short term, it seems like, oh, I'm doing something productive. But I'm like, you're just cutting a hole out of a blanket. Yeah. Yes, that's my answer. That's my answer. I just don't do personal questions. I've had some problems. I just prefer to be careful. When those deals start flowing, there's going to be a lot of names. I think so, and I think people really need to kind of take care of themselves. Can a DA legally indict for? Oh, absolutely. They can indict anyone who's broken the law. Anyone, absolutely anyone. Can they really move this to federal court? I don't think so. I think everybody's going to try to move it to federal court. That's a very classic legal strategy in criminal cases. And it's one of those strategies that I tend to see in my experience for people who are kind of they've got kind of this sense of power and control that they're trying to assert. Those are the cases where they're like, well, I'm not even going to deal with this in state court. You want to sue me? You want to come for me? Let's go to federal court. That kind of tends to be the motivation there, because everything gets more complicated in federal court. So it can be seen definitely as a scare tactic. I don't think this is a federal case. I think this is very specific to Georgia. I think the feds have their own world going on. We've got a Georgia RICO statute, and that's really what this case is about. Is it true jury selection for RICO case takes much longer? I'm not sure. I think you really just have to, make sure everybody understands how to be fair and impartial, and any kind of law can be explained to a jury. And I have always found it doesn't matter who the jury is. It can always be explained. And our juries take their job so seriously that they really look into, what's the best thing to do. I mean, it really, once you're sworn in and you're sitting there listening to evidence, it's like your whole focus changes. What kind of law do I practice? I do a little bit of everything. And I have done a little bit of everything over the years. So I don't really have any particular thing that I don't do. Well, I mean, I don't do tax law. Ooh, oh my gosh, I don't do tax law. Nope. Can you give me a brief of what's going on? I need to pay attention to the news more. Oh, no problem. Nope. I was just going through the Georgia indictment that came out yesterday for Mr. Trump and all these other people regarding the RICO charge and various other things that happened with regards to the January 6th situation. Could there be a gag order? It's possible. We tend to call those protective orders, not really gag orders. If we're needing to protect evidence, they'll kind of take care of that. But I started working at a case manager. Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. Oh, very nice. Love that. Love that. When do we expect this to go to trial? I've got no idea. We don't even have them pulled in yet. We've got to get them in, get them arrested, and set out the schedule. If guilty, could appeal, throw out any punishment. If you have a mandatory minimum, which is one of the things in the legal profession that a lot of us are not big fans of because it takes the discretion away from the situation, because not everybody should have a mandatory minimum. But if you've got a mandatory minimum, the judge has to comply with that. Has to. What is the meaning of all of the acts in count one? Is each one an indictment itself? No, great question. No. The elements for a RICO case is that you've got a group of people, an organization, and they're going after a particular goal, and they commit 2 or more criminal acts or racketeering acts in the goal of going forward with their entire point. So with 161 separate acts, what they're essentially doing is setting out like, okay, jury, you just need to pick 2 or more. If you get 2 or more of these acts that we've set out, then we've got racketeering going on. So it's just a way of saying, we're going to give you a whole bunch of things to choose from. And that's what makes the RICO statutes so helpful in these kinds of cases, because we don't have to prove every single thing beyond a reasonable doubt. Each of these other cases that have been charged individually, they have to be proven each one beyond a reasonable doubt. But for the RICO charge, we just have to prove 2 or more occurred, and then we can go forward on RICO. Well, I mean, it's 161 different choices. It's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot to choose from. And, maybe some of them, they're like, no, we're not doing it. But yeah, we only need 2 or more. Yeah, 2 or more. That's what we need. That's how RICO works. And, I mean, it's a very interesting statute, how it was written. And the goal of it, again, we use it primarily for gangs and organized crime. How likely is he to get jail time? I think there's mandatory minimums in Georgia. You're welcome, Mark. Thanks for coming. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Possible sentencing for these charges. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't looked up all of the code sections for the sentencing. You have to prove every single one of them? No, that's not true. Clickbait. That is incorrect. That is absolutely incorrect. I recommend actually looking up the law. That's all I can say about that, is just look it up, dude. Minimum 5 years. Yep. Yeah, I mean, that exactly. That's how the RICO statute works. It is fascinating. Again, if you take a look at it, it's fascinating statute. It's very interesting. Yeah, 2 or more. Yeah, true, Rosie. Oh, perhaps. Georgia RICOs come with a sentence imprisonment 5 to 20 years or fine or both. Okay. Good to know. Very good to know. Yeah, I mean, Captain, if you've got evidence, I mean, I got 98 pages of evidence, so, I don't have any evidence on Joe. Conviction, where will he serve his time? In Georgia. He would serve his time in Georgia. That's why my boss has got gifts in jail. Is Georgia the only state? Right now, yeah. Right now. I'm not sure what the first RICO case was. I'm not sure. Minimum 5 years? Okay. Good to know. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Giuliani. I really don't. I'm not sure. It's interesting. Oh, Suze, good to see you. Thank you. Go read the thing. Oh, I've already read through it. I'm kind of doing a Q&A at this point. Oh, that's up to you, Mad Hatter. You can vote for whomever you want. That's what's so great about this country. And if you try to interrupt people from voting who they want, you can get charged. How's my battery? My battery's okay tonight. Last night, I really thought something was going to catch on fire. I've got like a huge thing of water next to me just in case. It's okay for people in law to not vote. I think, if you have a right to vote, you should use your right to vote. I think that's what makes makes things get to where you want them to be, is by voting. I think that's important. concerned about the jurors being revealed. I think they'll be pretty protected in this particular case. 7 hours last night. I know. In fact, I tried to upload the first 4 hours, and the upload was corrupted. It wasn't. It didn't work. So I couldn't do it. I could only do the second one. What's the point with New Mexico? Wasn't it safely blue? That's a great question. I think that's a really good question. That question was also asked in the DC indictment. Like, hey, why are you bringing New Mexico in? That's all right. I do have a Tube of You channel, and I will post. I will post. Protected, you mean sequestered? No, I don't think so. I think there just will be security. I think we can tell that we've already got heightened security on the mind for everybody. Can the poll workers sue for defamation? It seems like it. False statements, defamation is not protected speech, so it absolutely could be a suit. What do you think of the people saying it's free speech? Well, it's not. I mean, there's all kinds of crimes that we have that involve speech, like harassment or defamation or obscenity. You get charged with any of that. So you can't just say like, hey, I'm going to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge and, take somebody's money. And they're like, hey, you said you were going to do it. I'm like, that's free speech. Like, no, it doesn't work like that. That's just not how it works. So, but it's an interesting spin. Oh, no, we do not know everything. We just know what we know is all. Speed read, so I'm great. Oh, good. Good for her. Go for it. He's not indicted over speech. Yes, it's his actions. Exactly. It's not the words here that were involved, except for the false words. The false words were, but we haven't seen the evidence. Well, there's a lot of evidence in here. I mean, there's evidence of probable cause, which is what's needed for grand jury indictment. It's not. I'm very careful with the community guidelines here on the talk of tick. I just try to be careful about that. So I just I'm not trying to promote anything. I'm just kind of put that information out. I really just got it from Mama Tot, honestly. She says the Book of Face. So I thought, no, that's hilarious, as Mama Tot is known to be. Oh, where are the documents? I got no idea. Man. If somebody wants to charge her, go for it. But nobody's got any evidence. Transcripts released for federal cases. To some degree, they are. It depends. Again, it's completely up to the judge, and the judge has to. I know, Mama Tot, right? Oh, I adore her. So much. I can't help it. My favorite conspiracy. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know. I think. I don't know. Love Mama Tot. There's so many great conspiracies out there. And by great, I mean like, oh my goodness gracious. There's a lot of interesting ideas about the use of the Uniform Commercial Code, I guess, and the conspiracy of this right to travel. That's not necessarily my favorite one, but it's one that I see the most. She's from your area. Oh, nice. Love that. Can your bad actions be excused from freedom of speech under the law? No. Nope. You violate the law. You can violate the law with speech. False statement, just untrue or lie, or more than that. It depends on how the statute is written. So here we need to have an intentional statement, and these intentional statements that were put forward had particular settings that they were made in, like in front of the judicial committee. So any attorneys involved could be disbarred. Absolutely, Michael. And I think some of them already have been. I'm not 100% on that, but I think so. I got no idea about that. Thank you for doing these. Oh, you're welcome. Can state cases have superseding indictments? Yes. Yeah, it's not very typical though, but it can happen. Yeah, I don't know about Lindsey Graham. That's a good question. Can't wait to see. Oh, well, maybe Jeff, if he's acquitted, he's acquitted. So be it. That's how it works. I've got no problem if he's acquitted. Then that's what our system's for. A probable cause, it's on a continuum. So probable cause, we have, in order to do a stop and frisk, we need reasonable suspicion. Probable cause is the next level for a search warrant or for indictments. And then beyond reasonable doubt is for a conviction. So if you look at it on a continuum, that's how it goes. Any of our senators and legislators are protected for things that they say on the floor, but when they are out in the world, they can still be held accountable. Yeah, there was stealing of voting information and getting into computers and computer hacking and stuff with voting information. Yikes. It's a lot. It was a lot. Yeah, yeah. How do attorneys know how to identify what's important in a case? We're trained, Felicia. We are trained. We are boot camped into it. We are forced and humiliated and shamed until we figured it out. So, you go in front of a judge and the judge is like, you missed an issue. I mean, you learn pretty quick how to find those issues, but that's our training. That's how we're training. That's how we're trained. Spot those issues, pick out the fact pattern, apply the law to it, and try to sort it out from there. It's a skill set that we are trained on. What would happen if he gets time from all the charges? What would they do? Oh, I got no idea. I've got no idea. Yikes. We will see about that. Maybe his wife will say, well, I don't know. Can you comment on the indictment? Andrew, that's a valid and great question. I'm still processing what's happened in Kansas, so I'm not ready yet, but it's on my list. It's in my mind. Where would he serve his time? If he's convicted in Georgia, he'd serve in a Georgia prison. Can his wife be involved in all? I don't know. I mean, she seemed like she stayed out of it quite a bit. But again, we've got 30 unknowns. So, me? I don't hate him at all. I don't hate anybody. Actually, I feel, I don't hate anybody. I just think if you do the crime, you need to own it. And we don't have proof beyond a reasonable doubt that he did the crime. So I'm just explaining how the law works. And I think accurate resources are not necessarily in abundance. So I just try to kind of come in and give the information out so people have the knowledge. It should be. I think the law should be impartial. I think so. Yeah. Yep. Just talking about the law. I mean, if we did it, we did it. If we didn't do it, we didn't do it. So, that's our fact finders are. Yeah. And I feel sorry for people who make bad choices and, that moment between making a good choice and making a bad choice, I feel bad that moment passed for them. So, is any of the family caught up in this yet? I don't know. At this point, we don't have anybody named. You need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt the underlying crime to prove RICO. We've got in RICO several different pieces. We have to prove that there was a conspiracy. We have to prove that there was a goal. And with that, we have to show that there were some acts involved. So that's how the statute works. Fulton is accounting. Yep. So for all of the 161 acts involved, we don't have to prove every single one of those acts beyond a reasonable doubt. That's just not how RICO works. You got to look that law up, and I've spent a few weeks within it. So when's your next reading? Good question. I'm not sure. I'm scheduled to go Thursday. And we will be on a different topic. I've got several topics, that people have been asking about. So, I will, be setting that up. I'll make an announcement here. How does the law find out people's crimes? I don't know if that makes sense. It's the investigations. We start with an investigation. So we try to figure out what's going on and look into it and gather enough evidence to get to probable cause. You think the prosecutors will keep the big evidence close to the chest? Probably. The defendants will have access to all of that because if there's any exculpatory information, all of that has to come out. But they certainly don't have to put everything into the indictment because they only need probable cause. I feel like, if they're taking a case to a grand jury, we're really looking at, probable cause. And I think we've got solid probable cause. And prosecutors, if we don't think we can win a case, we're going to do everything we can to settle it. But if you are working for years putting together a case, it's probably going to be pretty solid. But whether or not you're going to win it, 50-50. It doesn't matter who you are, how solid your case is. I stand by that. Absolutely 50-50 in front of a jury. Decide to file. Yeah, the other states could. You don't have to have you have to fit under an organization in the terms set out by the statute. And here you've got a group of people with a common goal. So that can be an organization. Grand jury decide to have probable cause for each defendant. They need to, yeah. You have to have probable cause in order to include every defendant. So each defendant had to show that there's probable cause for their specific counts. So they are each separately with their levels of probable cause. That's a great question. Who's turned themselves in so far? I don't know. That's a good question too. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who else has been out there. How long is a case like this expected? Oh, I don't know. That's a good question. What is probable cause? Well, probable cause, again, is this level of, it's the burden of proof. It's what we need to show in order for the indictment or for a search warrant to go forward. It's much lower than proof beyond a reasonable doubt, but higher than reasonable suspicion. Grand jurors, regular citizens? Yeah, it's anybody called in for jury duty. And when you get called in, they're like, oh, we're going to be doing a grand jury. And they're like, oh, great. That's great. So they go into the box, just like anybody else. If you're pulled in for jury duty, it could be either a regular trial jury or it could be a grand jury, just depending on what's going on. Oh, I don't think must be a unanimous decision with a grand jury. In this case in Georgia, grand jury was not required to be unanimous. Now, we just recently had a U.S. Supreme Court case that said in criminal cases you need a unanimous jury. Just happened. Justice Gorsuch wrote that opinion. But for grand juries at the state levels, no, we don't need it. Why is reasonable suspicion important? Reasonable suspicion is the level of justification in order to stop and frisk someone. That's out of Terry v. Ohio. Oh, good night. Yes, good night. Jury selection is going to be tough. Absolutely. It is. It is. Yep, only needs a majority. Thanks, Rich. Yep. Depends on the states. Yep, the grand jury rules are dependent on jurisdiction. Absolutely. It's going to be tough. Yeah, I think so, Amber. I think so. Do lawyers screen prospective juror backgrounds? They can. Anything in public is available to all of us. So not just you post something in public and we're looking for you. It could be. Can you give examples of different levels? Okay, sure. So reasonable suspicion just means that based off of an officer's training and education that they believe that criminal activity is afoot. So, an officer is patrolling in a neighborhood and they see somebody walking around suspiciously. You look to the totality of the circumstances. It's dark. They're kind of furtive movements. Maybe there's some kind of indication that there's a robbery about to occur. So they approach and then there's all kinds of other things. So then they're like, hey, and they pat them down for weapons for officer safety. That's reasonable suspicion. That's the stop and frisk. Very controversial, not really the best way to go about things, but it came from a case where some people were casing out a place they were about ready to rob. Probable cause, meanwhile, is what you need in order to do a search. Like if you get pulled over by a police officer for a speeding ticket and they smell illegal substances from your car when you roll the window down. So that smell is called plain smell. And they also see illegal objects in your car. That's plain view. So now they've got probable cause to get into your vehicle and do a search. Beyond a reasonable doubt means we're about 98% sure. So if you're going to look at it perspective wise, it has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. It's very, very high level of proof, the highest that we have. DUI stop. Yeah. Because as soon as they start talking to you in a DUI stop, you've got red, watery eyes. They can smell your breath. All of those taken together are totality of the circumstances for probable cause in order to do a search. How can they be sure that the jury isn't politically motivated? Great question and valid concern. And we're trained. We are just trained to do that, especially prosecutors and defense counsel. We go through so much training because we're in court all the time. And so we work really hard in order to figure out how to find those, in order to find those impartial jurors as best as we can. Oh, you do a lot of those cases? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot. Red, watery eyes. Did you do the test? Yes. Did you blow? No. What was your BAC? Yeah, it's difficult work. Weaponized DOJ. Well, I mean, come on. Weaponized DOJ. Seriously. Come on. I think they were cheering. Yeah, I think, I don't know. I mean, who's going to do the job then? Are you going to do the job? User 1657. Oops, you're gone. My moderators are amazing. Why have I never been on jury duty? It really just is the luck of the draw. It happens to be. Well, we try to get them as impartial as possible, but we are humans, so would you advise him not to address the public Monday? Yeah, Serena, I would say never, ever address the public ever for any reason ever. Please, please, I beg you, stop. Is what I would say for anything ever. Like if you're trying to win back some public opinion, I get it. We're campaigning. I also get that. But goodness gracious. Oh, I do. I have the best mods. I do. I absolutely do. Dissing civil trial attorneys, absolutely not. Oh my gosh. They're working hard, working absolutely hard. Fighting the good fight. Never been called to jury duty. Yeah. Appreciate your insight. Yes. Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. I do try to give a few different ways of looking at things. I do, Mads. I absolutely do have the best mods. Try to give you a couple of different ways to look at things and to try to figure things out and kind of take that and run. Post a video on the RICO allegations. My take as a defense attorney. There's one in Florida. Oh, excellent, Rich. Excellent. Let me write that down. I will go look that up. Is this on you have this on your TikTok? I will take a look at that. Fascinating. Sure, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Kept it simple for people. Excellent. Yeah, that's good. That's good. 3 months last year. Oh, only 2 days. Well, that's okay. Okay, on your TikTok. I'll take a look at that, Rich. Thanks for giving me a heads up on that. That's very interesting. Love to learn more about it. It certainly isn't an area I'm specialized in. I just have been doing a lot of research lately. Learned so much about the law in the past few days. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. I'm glad to hear it. Indicted for free speech. Nope, that's not how free speech works. Don't self-incriminate yourself. Do you think they'll find a jury? Yes, Jake. We always find a jury. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter when. It doesn't matter. We always find a jury. Always, always, always. Always. We've never been in a situation where we could not find a jury, even in the most complicated and public cases. Who was it that said law or order during the campaign? That's a good question. Specializing in either way, you got lucky. Okay. Is it luck, though? I mean, were you lucky? Seriously? I kid. Oh, good evening. Good evening, Deserts, guys. Welcome. Officer of the court. Can lawyers be called for? Oh, we can, Grant, and we do. And nobody wants us, but we still have to show up, and we have to answer all the questions, and we have to take a day off of work, and we have to go in, and then they question us, and they're like, we don't want you. And so we still lose a full day. We still have to do it. Oh, I'm so glad, Vanessa. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad. Sure. Well, I mean, 5 to 7 years. Oh, you could do forensic law. That would be fascinating. Promising a mugshot. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely historical. Oh, you never got picked. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. Love to be a fly on the wall. His attorneys meet to prepare. Oh my gosh. Oh, that would be tough. Oh, really? Okay, they must have slipped through somehow. Join late. Can you quickly summarize? Sure, Carolina. I was just going through the indictment. I had turned comments off so I could make it through everything in time. And so now I'm just kind of doing a Q&A. Oh, she was a judge. Yeah, now I've heard that. I've heard some judges have been on before. But they tend to dominate the jury. And, we're trying to get the most impartial people we can. We don't want someone who's going to really be a strong leader. We want everyone to really have equal opportunities. Yes, great poll question. Jury duty can be actually fun. Yeah. Do you think there'll be a 5th indictment? Could be. There absolutely could be. 9 times, Jamie. Wow, you've got that special something about you. Been called, never picked. Yeah, it can be interesting if you don't have, a super, super crazy, busy, worlds. It can be definitely interesting. Thank you you're welcome, Christy. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it. It's bad luck. Bad luck. If you get a jury summons and you don't respond, it's that bad. It is. Yeah, it's bad. It's real bad. You got to respond. You got to respond. You have to. I mean, it's like, yeah, that's one of those things that if you don't take that seriously, you could get into trouble. Is there anyone that can't be called for jury duty? I think if you've got certain kinds of convictions, you get taken out of the list. RICO, for non-lawyers, Racketeering, Influenced, and Corrupt Organizations Act. So we've got a group of people or an organization with a common goal, and they're using 2 or more criminal acts in order to achieve that goal. So that's the short, sweet, simple explanation for it. Hello, hola, welcome. But yeah, I mean, it's not every state has a RICO statute, but hello, welcome. I think this will win, making it far worse than it is. I really don't know if it'll win or not. We've got probable cause. We've got a lot of information, but like I've said before, if you put this in front of a jury, no matter what your case is, you got 50-50 shot. What's the most harsh one of the indictments? If they're guilty, they will get the most time. You mean across all of the states or in just this one? You have to be more specific about which indictment you're talking about. Sorry. How long have I been practicing? I kind of keep that information to myself. I don't share too much personal information. Yes, just these. I'm not really sure. I haven't looked up exactly what the sentencings are in these different filings here, so I'm not really sure. I heard somewhere it was only 5 years each, so I'm not sure about that. But why would a state not have RICO? I don't know. I don't know. I think it's up to their legislatures. They've got to write the statute and they've got to pass it. See how unconstitutional the 25th can get. Yeah, the 25th is an interesting amendment. Hello, Felix. Welcome. It's more they vary. Yeah, I have not looked it up. Okay, but that sounds, I should take a look at it. I should take a look and see. Don't think he's going to come out unscathed. Yeah. Can you number the amount of indictments, charges per person named? What you want to take a look at when you pull the indictment up is you take a look at the name, and then underneath are the separate counts that they've been specifically charged with. And so that'll give you a list of which ones they are, and they can match up the amount of time per charge. I need to talk to you. Yeah, why don't you, I think I'm taking, I don't know how, but somehow I'm magically getting messages. So, you can try to give that a look. What happens if the Georgia legislators expel the DA under the new law? I have no idea what you're talking about, Kev. I got no idea what you're talking about. I don't know what kind of a law would expel, a DA. She's probably, it's an elected position. I'm assuming she won election for her position. I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about our country. We definitely had a wake-up call, but I think that wake-up call started in 2016 for both sides. I think, we had a moment. This whole country had a moment, and since then, we're kind of learning from that moment. Suze, are you asking a question that I'm missing? I'll keep my eyes peeled. I'll keep my eyes peeled for you. 100%. You are asking a question. Okay. I'm ready, Suze. I'm ready for your question. What would happen if bail was refused or revoked? The same thing that would happen to any of our defendants. So you'd have to be in county. Can they move this out of Georgia into the federal courts? I doubt it. How long is this RICO stuff going to be in court? A while. It'll be in there for a while. It takes a while to get through all of that. The indictment has to meet charge requirements. Yep. It's true. Okay. Oh no, I was saying the forged document out of Michigan's crazy. Oh, okay, good. Okay, Suze, I got you. Yes. I'm very interested in taking a look at the evidence. The different pieces. Because I'm, an evidence dork. So I think it's fascinating. It's fascinating what people will actually go through and do. Huge waste of our, perhaps. I could have made one better. I believe you, Suze. I believe you could have, but you didn't, and that's good because now you're not getting charged with anything, and I'm glad for that. The fact that Giuliani is being charged with RICO is just, it is, isn't it? Wasn't he a part of all of the creation of all of that stuff? Wasn't his father part of organized something or another? It's fascinating. The judicial system is corrupt. We've got problems, Felix. That's a true story. We certainly have problems. Virgo would not break these laws. Oh, good for you. Love to hear it. Love to hear that. Or any. That's right. And you certainly don't want to admit it at any time. Yeah, what is that? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we're living in a movie. Oh, I know. I know. It's interesting. I mean, and not like, I mean, it's again, I'm trying to find the silver lining. I'm like, these are learning moments here, but it's also heartbreaking. Why is it legal for him to run for office when he has pending federal state criminal charges? I didn't think that I don't think that they had this in mind as an issue at the time that they wrote everything down. But if we don't have a finding of insurrection, the 14th Amendment isn't necessarily going to come into play, but it doesn't mean that we don't have legal options. I think things are going to start getting filed in court to challenge it. So, I think right now we're kind of in this period, like we're going up on the roller coaster. We're not quite to the top yet, but I think once we get there, we're going to see some things filed is how I would assume it would be going down. Yeah, they're all legitimate charges. How do you think they'll go about jury selection? Very carefully. Very carefully. But, we've always been able to find a jury. We've always been able to, no matter who you are, no matter how famous your case. This whole thing is heartbreaking. It is desert skies. It is. It is. Nobody had this in mind with founding fathers. They didn't. They couldn't have predicted this. We had some founding fathers that had some criminal situations, but state of Ohio. Oh, ew. If you've ever got problems with a judge or prosecutor, you want to go to your ethics. You want to go to the ethics committees who are in charge of those different people. Abusing her power? I don't think so. This is her power. Her power is to bring charges to a grand jury and ask them to indict. Like, that's her job. Here in Alaska, on my island, hard to find a jury. Oh, I bet so. Yikes. Oh, that'd be tough. And probably everybody knows everybody, too, so it would be difficult. Ooh. Well, you can always go forward and claim that there was maybe a civil rights violation. I always say, you can always ask that. Will liberals ever be held accountable for the crimes? Well, if you do the crime, you get charged for it, then, there you go. Abusing your power in the right. Well, again, she's doing her job. That's what she does. She brings a case in front of grand juries. Oh, thank you, Somos. Appreciate that. I do try my best. I know there's a lot of different perspectives out there, so just here to kind of give information as best as I can. People are criminals. I don't think it matters if you're a liberal or a conservative. People can just be criminals, so it just happens. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're welcome. They can be. I suppose they can be corrupt, but anybody can be corrupt, right? I'm more afraid of a corrupt dentist, quite frankly. Okay, well, see if you can message me after the live, or you can kind of hop out and see if you can send a message. I've got kind of that channel open. Do you think they'll look at the 2016 votes? I think that time is over. I think someone, some curious academic may go in and take a look and publish an article, but I think legally that time has passed. Approach the subject a little more. Well, I try. I do try to kind of, give an overall perspective and tell your attorney about your answers. I try. Well, I got a lot of training. Sorry about that. You don't know what's happening doesn't mean it's wrong. Do the crime. Yeah, absolutely. It's political. Even if it's political, things can be political, but if you break the law, you break the law. Whether it's political or not, it doesn't really matter. There's a law, there's rules. You break those rules, you get held accountable. It's kind of how things work. What defense is there? How can an attorney defend him? We have to. My time to shine. That's our job. I mean, everybody's entitled to an appropriate defense, and everybody. So, we get to choose our clients if we're lucky, if we put ourselves in that position, but everyone is entitled to a fair trial. So as defense counsel, we have to make sure everybody did their job. Everybody did their searches properly. Witnesses were interviewed properly. Paperwork was filed properly. Everything was done properly. That's our job, to make sure that everybody followed the rules. Oh, no. Hold on. What's going on here with Harold? What's going on? One moment, please. I don't allow for any of that. Did we already block him? Where's the ring tonight? Okay, I don't see him. We already blocked him? Did we already block? Bye, Harold. Okay, good. Yeah, we don't need any of that. Yeah, I'm not doing any of that. We don't do that here. Yeah, no. No, we don't do that here. Okay, yes, thank you, mods, my heroes. Seriously, my heroes. Thank you very much for that. Yes, oh, I've got my sapphire tonight. What's the difference between an indictment and a conviction? An indictment is just saying we believe a particular person committed a particular offense and we've got probable cause. We put those together. A conviction just means we found guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. And so now we can go forward on that. So right now we do not have a finding of guilt. What we have is this idea that a particular person committed these particular offenses and we have probable cause. We have to make sure to go into trial in order for our fact finders, which are our juries, to make the ultimate determination. I'm not sure. Oh, it's your birthstone. Nice, Suze. I'm not sure if they would revoke or not. We're kind of in uncharted waters with that. Yeah, it's a pretty huge complaint. Do indictments only happen when a grand jury does it? No, Creaky. We've got grand juries that are pulled in our really high-level, complicated cases, but your right to a grand jury is under the Fifth Amendment, and it only applies to the federal government unless your own state's constitution has included it. So the local prosecutor can file an indictment, which is just paperwork or electronic paperwork, and they just submit it. The finding of probable cause is seen in a preliminary hearing, typically, if that's challenged, and then you go forward that way. So a local prosecutor can just file. But grand juries get brought in order to indict when we've got these complicated cases where it's really out of the hands of the prosecutor and we need a set of impartial people to make the decision. Maybe. I doubt it. How are states being sued over the election? Oh, I have no idea. He can indict a ham sandwich. Oh, I just made a post on that. I just made a post on how to indict a ham sandwich. What kind of law do I practice? A little bit of everything. You know, I've been in the field a really, really long time, and I'm a planner, so I was able to kind of plan things out to get to a point where I'm at in my world. So, you know, I'm very careful. I'm very client-oriented, so I have clients based on, you know, who needs me. So I've been very lucky that way. Thank you, Suze. Thanks. So many people being high profile. Will it be difficult to find a jury? It's not going to be easy, but we've always done it. We can always find a jury. We're trained. We're trained to do it. I don't think it's political. I think, again, you know, if you've got laws and those laws have been broken, you know, you go forward with it. And, you know, that's just how our system works. If some people get charged and other people don't get charged, like, you know, I'm sorry, I don't know anything about that. I just deal with the people that get charged. I don't really look to the rationale. I don't know, Felix, if he's going down or not. I really don't know. I think we've got probable cause. We've got grand juries pulled in. You know, we need juries. We need to have trials in order to determine it. If Rudy's unable to pay for an attorney, will he have a public defender? Well, yeah, he would have a public defender. He would have to fill out an indigent form to see whether or not he qualifies. It might be scary, but, you know, that's just how I view the world. I don't look through the world through a political lens. I look through it through a legal lens. I just look at the law. I don't look at the politics. So what was the document that was filed in error? It looks like it was some kind of a cover page, maybe, some kind of a work product, you know, and it's pretty traditional. I mean, it's classic. We file incorrectly all the time. We make mistakes. It just happens. With electronic filing, you hit the button too quick and you're like, woo, bring it back, give it back. But it's not, that's a harmless error. It's a clerical problem. It happens all the time. I mean, if it was a really big deal, I would bring it up, but it's not. I'm worried. Oh, wait. I'm worried that people might try to go after the jury. They'll be protected, Jay. We always, you know, we have to protect our jury, and nobody's more sensitive than our bailiffs, than our court people, than our judges. We protect our jury. They're our most important people. They're our fact finders. So it's a list of charges that the grand jury would be voting on. He doesn't need a public defender. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. How is the jury protected? It depends. Usually their names and locations, all of that information is very carefully processed to make sure that information doesn't get out. But we also have special instructions that are given to our juries. And if we've got safety concerns, then local police or sheriff's departments will kind of take care of that as well. We've had some cases where we've asked for extra patrols to be put in certain neighborhoods. We've had people that have been picked up and dropped off and various things like that. So, oh, the poll workers, absolutely. Oh my gosh, our poor poll workers. Yeah, the OJ case. Who's going to be a poll worker these days after this? It's like, oh my gosh. Sample used in, oh, why isn't the grand jury's names protected? I think in this case, I think too, because we're dealing with such a large area in Fulton County, that's just not what they do, but they're being pretty careful. There's a lot of security going on in Fulton right now. So they're being careful. Again, that's the most important thing. We need to keep our jurors safe. Yeah. I mean, we have to keep our jurors safe. That's for sure. It's a part about Miss Freeman. Yeah. I mean, she was accused of multiple things that were very unflattering and defamatory, and also was kind of pushed to try to make false statements also. So it's going to be different for the simple fact that the supporters will do what? Well, we'll see. I mean, I presume their names and addresses were redacted. Yeah, I mean, we definitely have that element too. Some things that have been sealed for sure. First time poll worker in 2020, January 6th. I know, Pilar, right? Right, I know, that's what I'm saying. Who do you think he'll learn how to make? I don't know. Maybe. I doubt it. You can't run for office as a shield against prosecution for criminal activity. Well said, Law of the Wild. Well said. Absolutely, you're correct. Agree. Takes to learn. How does the jury selection work? Can you do an infinite amount of jurors? Yeah, we keep pulling them in until we can get a fair and impartial jury. I mean, we just keep pulling them in, keep asking questions. Surprised to see Mark Meadows listed. Kind of thought he got away. Yeah, it seemed like a lot of people had kind of been, but our justice system, it works slow, but it continues to go. Yep, that's true. Became a poll worker. It depends on your jury. If it's a criminal jury, we need to have unanimous. If it's a grand jury, depending on your jurisdiction, we can just have a majority vote. I was here for the Great Leg incident. Oh, no, don't talk. We don't talk about that. We don't talk about the leg incident. No, we do not. We most certainly do not. Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh. Georgia was a majority. Okay, sure. Mail-in ballot judge for elections, rural county. It ran perfectly, no politics. I love that. That's what it should be. No toes. Oh my gosh. No, Jenny, no, don't say it. I'm still having nightmares. I have PTSD. After the election, due to other cases schedules. There's a lot, Rich. There's a lot going on. Do backup jurors sit in the courtroom? Yes. Yeah. Our alternates sit with our jury, hear everything with our jury. And then at the end, if everyone in the jury is still going, then we will dismiss the alternates at the end. No, I don't think it's a distraction. I don't think we have this level of situation here. Work with your Mulligan. No. Oh, no. Seriously. They weren't showing, right? You guys are just teasing me, right? You're just teasing me. Pretty sure it was 1223 for a federal indictment. Okay. Interesting. It's 1223. Well, I mean, okay. We'll see. I'll be interested to see what happened. Nothing was showing right now, I promise. Okay, thanks. Thank you. Your toes. Seriously, they were showing? Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm just horrified. Love Act 22. Oh my gosh. No. Let's lie to me, people. Please. Is it too late for those charged to deal with? No, you can always talk about immunity. You can always. That's always on the table. You need to get you some topics. No. Oh, Rosie, thank you. Just lie to me, Rosie. Tell me. Tell me there's nothing there. Everyone has to. I know, but this is the internet. I'm so careful about what goes on the internet. Oh my goodness. Oh, you tease me. You tease me. That's fine. That's fine. Uh, I am. I'm totally going to be paranoid. Seriously, I have a whole different setup going on here. I've got all kinds of things going on just to make sure that doesn't happen again. So now I'm just being very careful. That's all right. I was reading comments, didn't see. Okay, thanks, Rosie. J6 charges are going to be the hardest to prove. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Did you tell your I did. And he was horrified. He's like, I'm sorry, what happened? Oh my gosh. I'm just trying to just block it out. The difference, I see the difference. Yeah, I put a couple things. Seriously, it's changed. I got a blue cover on. I'm trying to take care of things. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness. Yeah, the peaceful transfer. I mean, that's kind of something that's been traditional. But again, just because it didn't happen doesn't mean it couldn't happen. Federal grand juries are 16 to 23. Oh, okay, I gotcha. I was like, wait a minute. Are you trying to give me a code for when the next indictment's coming down? That's seriously what I thought you were saying. At least 12 jurors must agree. Okay, fair enough. And I think in Georgia, somebody had said that they just needed a majority there. So that is interesting how those federal grand juries work. For sure. Oh, you like it? Okay, good. No crystal ball. Oh, come on. Where's the crystal ball? Stacey Abrams. For what? Next for what? Governor? Do you think that the next few weeks you'll cover the golf cart bride case? Oh, the defendant's awful. I'm not sure. I'm trying. There's a lot of really heartbreaking cases that are going on. I might. This is what you've heard? Okay. She's been successful. Okay. We'll see. Intent a key factor. Yeah, I think we have to have an intent towards the common goal. He's not being charged for incitement, though. Not yet, but it just definitely means that we don't have the protection there, though. We can't just tell them illegal things are legal to do. True. Yep. Laughing hyenas in the house. Absolutely. Those are the best hyenas, are the laughing ones. Is the judge going to address the threat, you think? I'm not sure. I am not sure what's going to happen. Any way to see the grand jury vote to indict? No. Oh, no. That's going to be very private information. George's best. Did you have a question? Did I miss it? I'm trying to watch. Judge is green. True. Judge is absolutely green. And sometimes that can be better because they're more creative and try things, but sometimes it's not. So we'll have to kind of see what happens. I mean, both of the judges, Florida and DC, but we'll see. Have you covered any of the Idaho 4 case? No, I haven't. There was some interesting, I think, didn't they file like a motion for dismissal of the indictment in that case? I thought that had some very interesting legal questions going on. I mean, not valid legal questions, but interesting that they were asked. It's on my list of things to look up. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, Miss Abrams been through enough. Do you think the judge will advance past the protective? I think so. What is the law that Rudy was talking about? Reminded me King for a day or something? Oh, I don't know, Suze. I don't know. I'll have to look at that too. I'm not sure. Georgia judicial system. Try all these people at the same time. Oh, it's possible. We won't know. For a day is the immunity deals. Oh, sure. Yeah. Okay. Sure. To be granted immunity for a particular set of time. It can, that can be done. In DC case, do you think the judge will advance? Right. Past the, I really don't know what's going to happen. I think the judge is not playing around, but she also has a job to do and doesn't want to kind of play the game either. So she's going to be like, look, I don't want to do anything that's going to make this more ridiculous, but also need to have the orders respected. So there's going to be kind of a balancing going on there. Nothing changed since January. It waits so long to charge. It takes a long time, Michael. It just takes a really long time to get all the evidence together. That's just how the law works. It takes us a really long time. It can take 8, 9, 10 months to put a bar fight case together. I can't imagine this level of evidence is going to take a while. Oh, I don't know. Barron, I haven't heard about him for a long time. Hope he's doing okay. Co-conspirator testifying in exchange for immunity. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Law of the Wild. The thing is, though, we have to be careful because a co-conspirator can testify and get immunity, but we can't only have the co-conspirator's testimony. So we have to have other evidence, too. So their testimony alone is not going to be enough. But that's a very, absolutely an opportunity. Missed everything. Anything new from last night? No, Renee. Nope. We were just going through the indictment, and I'm just kind of doing a Q&A here. GTB, no. Nope. That's not how that went down. What do your attorney friends think of your TikTok fame? My attorney friends. Oh, what should I say about that? My attorney friends are not on TikTok. My attorney friends keep asking me why I'm not on Facebook. To give you some idea. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. No, they're sweet. They're very supportive. I try to post some things to the book face. I know. We're a lot of people in my field, we're just kind of old school. We are old school here, and I feel you so much. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to get people to move on. Some people have they're dabbling a little bit, so I think it's opening some doors. But they're very supportive, but they don't really watch. They don't really watch it very much. That's okay. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. There's 2 of us not on Facebook. Okay. Oh, glad to hear it. Oh, yeah, it's funny. I think it's funny. It has, yeah. And I get it. It's fine. I've got, it's just not, it is a little scary, I think, but, and I hadn't really planned on going into it, but I had my reasons. And once I got in, I found it to be, very helpful in helping people answer questions. So the Book of Face scares me after being away. I know, Serena, same. I hop on every once in a while just to say hi to my mom. But other than that, I'm like, I don't know what's going on. It scares me. Do you have an opinion on the quality content layout of Fanny's indictment? They're just different. Both are good. She's met all of her elements when she's explaining things. She set out her facts. It's orderly. I think it's not quite as meticulously organized as Jack's. But again, it's incredibly professional and well put together. So I think they're both excellent. They're just different. You can see that they're different styles, and both styles work great. Co-conspirator were not named because they were already singing. Oh, absolutely, Michael. That's exactly what happened. They were already, testifying and being cooperative. And so that's why they didn't do it. Can't wait to see what happens on Friday. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen. I got to get more ink. I got to go to Staples and get another ink cartridge. Oh, my goodness. Are the acts in chronological order, not by state? They are she set the acts out in the indictment based on the dates, as far as the acts for the RICO, but then the actual criminal, the rest of the counts 2 through 41, those were set out a little bit differently. So they kind of hop around quite a bit. When you get back into the counts, these are more dependent on the people that were involved, less than the dates, but the dates are really what helped to set it out in the acts. Because you can see here, we've got Act 42, 55, 79. We're just kind of jumping around a bit more. Because we've got, for count 7 is Act 56, but count 10 is Act 80. So she's hopping around a bit more. Still very good. Well done. Yeah, a chart would be helpful, Suze. A chart would be very helpful for that. Yep. I need to start making little downloadable worksheets for people so they can kind of follow along. I've been working on figuring out how to do that. Can anyone be charged later? Absolutely. If the statute of limitations haven't run, yeah, they can charge. Yep. Yeah, complex cases, they take a while. They really do. If not convicted for RICO, absolutely. RICO's just charge number 1. Then we've got all the rest of these charges here. So he was charged with counts 5, 9, 11, 13, 15, 17, 19, 27 through 29, 38, 39. All of those can, any of those can go through. Absolutely. Google Docs. Yeah, I've been thinking about kind of putting together an outline. We can be in ink solidarity. I love it. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I might try to set something up so it can be like maybe a screenshot for people or something like that. So, indictment bingo. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm loving that. That's fantastic. Do that. Make that. Take my money. Do that. Make up evidence. No, that's not how it works. We just don't do that. We just don't do that in the legal field. It doesn't, we don't accept made up evidence. Personating a public officer. Yes, that charge was for the people who were coming in and saying they were the electors, even though they knew that they were false electors. And so they were impersonating the public officer, which was a duly elected elector, appointed through the process properly. So they came in and they said, we're alternate electors and come and take our stuff. So that's how they got charged with that. Yep. Make it like a Monopoly board. Oh, that'd be great. That's so funny. When I was doing my bar review, one of the things I did was I made Candyland, and each color was a different topic. Like, orange was, evidence, and then I had criminal law, and I had wills and trusts, and I had probate, wills and trusts was one. Constitutional law, criminal law, all those stuff had a different color. And so you would play Candyland, and anytime you stepped on a particular color, then I had a set of flashcards from that subject. And so you had to answer the question. If you answered it correct, then you could go again. But if you didn't, then you had to stay there. So I actually made a Candyland game for bar review. It was pretty fun. Yeah, it's somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Sometimes you got to get creative when you're going through that much content. Shoots and lawyers. You do. You have to. And Candyland's great because it's got different colors, so you can just assign different topics. So who can guess who's going to jail? Oh my goodness. Yeah. I mean, you have to use different ways to learn. I'm not really just a plain, ordinary learner. I need a little something extra. No, that didn't happen, Mike. Sorry. You have to really love to read. It's true. Absolutely. We will see. I think it's going to be coming up pretty soon with that, but I'm not sure exactly when. Okay. Whoa, my goodness. Here I come on every time. And I'm like, it's not going to be so long. And I'm like, it's been 4.5 hours. Attack librarians. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's genius. I love that. Yes. Yeah, pretty soon. I know. We will see. I don't want to put any hard, fast rules down, but so, all right. I'm looking at the time. I've been on 4.5 hours, so I'm going to need to, kind of start the process here of winding down. I do. I love you all. You're all wonderful. I love your comments and your questions. So intelligent. I just love to, chat with everyone, but I do have another world outside of my world. Oh my gosh, Maisie, thank you so much. Oh, Mimi, thank you. Yes, Rosie, thanks for coming, everybody. Oh, I know, Law of the Wild. I know. I usually try to come on about 6:30 p.m. Central Time. That's usually when I come on. So. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. Yes, I will have this posted up on the Tube of You channel for anyone who's interested. So we'll have that. You're welcome. Oh, thank you, everybody, for coming and joining. I really appreciate it. Great comments and questions. So thankful for that. So, thank you so much. Oh, I'll be back. I will be back. If anything super interesting comes down, I will pop back on. But I do try to post, go live on Mondays and Thursdays. I will post topics here coming up pretty soon, so we'll know what we can do. we'll know what we can do for Thursday when we do that. Yeah, the RICO will be really interesting. But thank you again, everybody, for coming tonight and for visiting. My Tube of You channel is the same as my TikTok name here, so you can go and check out any of my lives. There's quite a few on there. There's hours of sleeping that can be done in that situation for anyone who has sleeping problems. I think my longest one I've got up there is maybe 5.5 hours. I really talk too much on my lives, everyone. I just chit chat too much. But yes, I do read lots of indictments, lots of case law. I go through different things. I've got some of our con law cases that have come out recently. I do try to go through those. So yeah, go and take a look if you're interested. And I will be back again for sure on Thursday. But if anything super interesting happens, let's do a podcast. Yes, we need to do that. We need to set that up. Absolutely. But have a wonderful night, everyone. Thank you again for joining me and staying with me here. I really appreciate it. So have a great night, everyone. I will catch you on Thursday then. Take care.